Okay, so it's been a while since I've put up anything, and the reason for that is if you look back in my channel videos, I had videos for mainly two games so far, MechWarrior Online and Magic Duels. Magic Duels in the past few weeks was announced as shutting down. It's not really shutting down, it's just not going to be updated and supported for now. You could still play it, but they're not adding new sets after a Monket. They're not adding the second set that goes along with it. They plan on switching over to some new products that they're supposed to announce next month in September. So even though I still play it, there's nothing really to do with it. I never got a good enough card collection for a decent deck, so I barely do it anymore. And as for MechWarrior Online, I've had connection problems. I've actually had connection problems since about 2 months ago. Since 2 months ago, find the image for this. Now, whenever you have problems with certain things involving MechWarrior Online, there's standard steps they tell you to go through, and they're in an email. You get a response email from technical support, and they have the steps there, which is why I always save one of those responses so it can remind me of what the steps are. One of them is to do a trace RT command to one or two or all three of the servers that you're having problems with. Now, up here I have a trace RT to the North American server, which is in Canada. I think it's somewhere in Montreal, based upon where it connects to. And as you can see, everything looks fine. There's a little spike here in ping time, but otherwise, for the most part, it's fine. Down here is the same tracer to the same server, but this one's in June 22nd. It's a little over a month later. And you can see there's some stars here. If you compare the two, these star ones are somewhere in the Quebec province. So that's when my problem started. And I only did the North American server back then because I was only seeing the problem on the North American server. However, in the past couple of weeks, I started seeing problems on all three servers. And another thing I noticed is here's a trace RT command, the same North American server in Quebec, Canada. And you got a star out here still in the Quebec area. This spot here is it used to be a Quebec area. Now I don't know where it is. I don't know what this address is here. And you can also see above that, there's another star area. This is somewhere in New Jersey. So I've still got some timeouts on this. Plus, on top of that, I also noticed this middle portion here. These middle hops, they changed. Back in May and June, this area was going through connections marked telia.net. Now it's going through level 3. It's going through Newark, New Jersey. I have no idea what's going on. They switched the route on me. So I still had the problems in Quebec, and now I got problems in New Jersey. But it's not just this server, it's all three. This is my European server. And you see I got outages here, which was on the network that my ISP is. I got outages here. This is right after the same spot in Newark. And I got another outage here between New York and France. So I got outages on the European server. Plus, there's this weird thing on my European connection where here on line 10, the connection is in Newark, New Jersey. It's been there for apparently a few different connections here. So line 10 is in Newark, New Jersey. From there, it goes to line 11, which is all the way in London, United Kingdom. So it goes across the Atlantic. But then on line 12, it comes back to New York in America, back across the Atlantic. Then there's this outage, and then there's line 14, which is in France. So in addition to these outages, I've got this connection that's zigzagging across the Atlantic Ocean, which makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, once you send the connection over to London, it should stay over there and just go straight to Europe, right? That's not what it's doing. And this is a trace RT to the Oceanic server. There's a little outage here, and there's another outage here down near the server. But I can't tell who this is because whenever I try to look up this address online, it tells me this is a reverse DNS lookup. It's not an actual company. I guess whoever this company is must have some type of protection on so that instead of you finding out who they are, you can't find out who they are and they go and look you up instead when you try to find them. I don't know. So I've got all these outages on all three servers. So I can't play MechWarrior Online because I have all these outages. I have all this warping and rubber banding. And Magic Duels, I never got a decent enough card collection to really get into it. So the question is, what do I do now? Well, last week, and it took me an entire week to do this, I contacted my ISP about these outages, and we went through a bit of a hassle where at one point they were telling me I had to go to all the different companies on the line and try to get them to fix stuff. Now, I worked in telecom before. That's not how it works. When you're the customer of an ISP, you're supposed to go to the ISP and tell them you want this fixed, and they're supposed to go to the other companies and say, look, we got a problem here. You got to fix this stuff, even though it's not on our equipment. But that's not what they did. I had to go to one of the other companies, level 3, who told me that's how it worked, which I knew. I knew how it worked because I worked in this industry. So I had to go back after speaking with level 3 back to my ISP and tell them this. And then they're like, oh, well, that's what you want. Should have done that the first time. They were a bit off, and it took me a week to get through to them what I needed. It's still not fixed. I'm still waiting on them to fix it. And meanwhile, the Magic Duels is not worth playing. So what do I play in the meantime? Well, I think I'm going to change things up a little bit by trying a couple other things. I've got a few other games. The ones I want to try next are Shadow Era, which is another online card game. I've been involved in this one off and on since their first set. I have a decent amount of cards. But the one big thing they had is that they recently changed their single player experience. It used to be this routine where when you started off as a single player, playing against the AI, you had one opponent you could pick no matter what. You could only fight one opponent. There was only one AI deck you could fight all the time. And that was true for up to about level 5 or 10. And then it went to 2, and then it went to 3, and so on until it reached 5. And 5 was the maximum. And then you were stuck with the same 5 decks you could choose from all the time. Well, they changed that up recently to something better. It's still got some improvements it could use, but it's a lot better than it used to be. And it gives actually a lot more rewards, too. And Shadow Era is supposed to be one of the most popular online card games, even though they don't do much advertising for themselves. It's a strange thing. They don't do a lot of advertising, yet they're one of the most popular online card games. And they give back decent rewards, and you can get in for a low cost. I think I've spent about $40 to $60 total in the time I've been involved with it. And the other thing I wanted to try was I've got the old Neverwinter Nights games, both 1 and 2. I got them off of GOG sale, GOG.com website. And I know there's a lot of people that did the campaigns. I'm not going to do the campaigns for it. Instead, I was thinking of doing module reviews. Even though it's an older game that's out of date, I still enjoy playing it sometimes. And like I said, people have done the campaigns, but there are very little people doing the different modules. So I thought about doing module reviews for this. There may be some others I could try at some point, but those are the two that I'm going to go on to next. There's videos for these games while I wait for this MechWarrior Online to get fixed. And next month, we'll see what happens with the new Magic online direction and online platforms and whatever they want to call them. I have no idea. All they've said is they're going to do something magic next. Give you nothing else. That's just to let you know what's going on and why I haven't updated in a while. So until I start doing some more videos again, have a good day.